Once again, back at Rainier. Promised we'd see wolverines and goats and marmots and bears. So far, just a bunch of tourists like ourselves. Nada. I did see a Pop-Tart before it disappeared. Wonder where it went. You ever wonder why they call it sunrise? We got Fremont Lookout way out there. Probably can't even see it on the camera, that little dot. Let's ride.
Check out Big Mama over here, aka beautiful Tahoma. We've hit first and second Burroughs. We're headed over to the third Burroughs over there. Took a little side trail that we'll have to come back and explore sometime, but this is so beautiful. I feel like I could reach out and touch this beauty.
Yeah, first and second burrows are just super flat. I guess that's why. I don't know what a burrow is. If that's a geographical term. Like, it looks just like a butte. The northwest version of a butte. Not to be confused with a juicy butt. This is the hoary marmot, Washington, one of the 3 indigenous species of marmot to Washington. They live in the Cascades, here on the slopes of Mount Rainier, this little hoary marmot, H-O-A-R-Y. Oh, what's up, little marmot? They took off. They kind of have a grizzly appearance. By grizzly, I mean like the tips of their fur are a different color than the rest of their fur. It gives like a little glint, like a little silver shimmer on the charcoal of their normal fur. But yeah, they always like alpine areas where they have lots of rocks to hide. Marmots actually live underground hibernating 9 months out of the year, and then for 3 months they come out and reproduce and eat. But yeah, so these marmots are all over the place up here. Beautiful little critters. But like I said, in California, they'll be totally golden, and these guys are like a much darker color. Still beautiful. Love them. Mountain goat fur. Look at that. Wow. Back on second Burroughs. Third Burroughs, just right over there. We were just up there.
Peace. Some elephant's head over there too.
Alrighty, back to the parking lot. 3,000 feet up, 3,000 feet down. And it's only like 11 a.m.
All right, best way to end the hiking day. Cheers.
Strawberry shortcake, delicious.
A nice chocolate sando.
I'll meet you at the ranger station.
Beautiful views, leaving the parking lot. If you're wondering how we pulled off a nice little day trip, we ended up leaving at around probably like 3:30 a.m. this morning. You have to enter the park before 7 if you don't have a permit, so we just got up and early, and we were here probably by what time do you think? Like 6?
We started hiking at like 5:50, I think.
5:50, yeah. So, you know, it was an early morning, but it actually was nice and crisp and cool out. There weren't a lot of people at all. It was really easy to get in. We just left and it was pretty busy. Yeah, so highly recommend.
Burroughs Mountain, first, second, and third Burroughs, totally sweet, but we don't come to the park super often, and we want to make the most of it, so here we are. We're in the White River area, hiking along the river at like 4,000 feet when we were just up at like 7.8 or something. It was like 7.2, I don't know, but we were up a lot higher than we are now. So a totally different vibe of Mount Rainier, but just as beautiful. Now, the reason we haven't come to Mount Rainier yet this year, and the reason why Tanisha just a few minutes ago was talking about us getting here so early, is because Mount Rainier National Park this year has introduced a pilot program for timed entry reservations. So basically, there was such an issue with there being too many crowds in the park and too many cars, and people not respecting wildlife and staying off of meadows and things like that, that they're trying to limit the amount of people that can come in just to make the recreation a little bit more sustainable. There's a bunch of different ways you could do that. Rainier decided to do timed entry. A lot of national parks do this nowadays. Yosemite, for one. Utah, Zion has rules for like when you can enter the Virgin River Gorge. Same thing with the Glacier National Park and go into the Sun Road. So Rainier's doing it, and it's been a big hub around Washington and the national park recreation scene. But in any case, the reservations only start 7 to 5. So it's like 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. You need a reservation to enter the park, and it's pretty strict. But if you arrive after 5 p.m. or before 7 a.m., then it's good to go. So we arrived here at we honestly went over the national park boundary probably at like 5:20 or 5:30. And then we got to the parking lot of where we wanted to go around like 5:45 or 6. So, but also, we live pretty close, only 2 hours away. And we had to leave the house at like 3:30. So pretty darn early, but the things you do for love, man. Love for your mother. Mother Nature.